and welcome to South Asia Today, a show that provides you glimpses of South Asia. I'm your host, Shivangi Mishra. Let's begin with the headlines first. Sri Lanka and Thailand signed free trade agreement. Since inception, Pakistan has never given rights to Baloch people, says BNM activist. And Gulmarg receives a fresh snowfall. Tourists rejoice the winter beauty in Jammu and Kashmir. Let's begin the show with Sri Lanka, which recently has signed a free trade pact with Thailand. Sri Lanka hopes this move can help it emerge from its worst financial crisis in decades. The island nation defaulted on its overseas debt in May 2022 after a severe shortage of foreign exchange reserves triggered the worst financial crisis since independence from Britain in 1948. The crisis, which was started due to several compounding factors, have left a large population of Sri Lanka vulnerable. Take a look. Sri Lanka and Thailand signed a free trade agreement on February 3rd, a move Colombo hopes will help it emerge from its worst financial crisis in decades. The island nation has been renewing a focus on trade deals to foster economic growth and help its battered economy, which is estimated by the World Bank to have contracted 3.8% last year, after a severe foreign exchange crunch plunged it to a wider financial crisis. The free trade agreement is aimed at enhancing market opportunities, with negotiations covering various aspects such as trade in goods, investment, customs procedure, and intellectual property rights.
The main focus of this visit is accelerating economic cooperation between Sri Lanka and Thailand. There is significant potential for the expansion of trade and investment ties between our two countries, which have remained largely untapped. The Prime Minister and I witnessed the signing of the Sri Lanka-Thailand Free Trade Agreement a short while ago.
Given the enormous potential between our two countries, I believe that the signing of the Free Trade Agreement today will significantly boost bilateral trade and investments in the years ahead.
Sri Lanka defaulted on its overseas debt in May 2022 after a severe shortage of foreign exchange reserves triggered the worst financial crisis since independence from Britain in 1948. The country's foreign minister, Ali Sabri, has said that Colombo expects it to attract about $5 billion in foreign funds in the next 2 years, once it is able to finalize the restructuring of its overseas debt.
All put together, we are looking at within the next 12 to 24 months, somewhere in the region of about 5 billion worth of foreign currency infusion into the country in terms of projects and all those things, and also from the sale of some of the state-owned enterprises.
Sri Lanka has made progress on about $11 billion of bilateral debt restructuring and hopes to have agreements in place with all key creditors, including bondholders, by May. It will then focus on kickstarting major infrastructure projects suspended during the crisis, including an expansion of the main airport near Colombo and a $2 billion light railway project with Japan. The crisis, which was started due to several compounding factors, have left a large population of Sri Lanka multidimensionally vulnerable. In November last year, Sri Lanka's Supreme Court ruled on the country's worst economic crisis since independence. The court ruled that former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and his brother, former Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, and several other government officials were guilty of mishandling the economy. The top court held that the respondents violated the public trust and fundamental rights of the petitioners. The common people in the island nation had called the court's ruling a right decision, but they had expressed their desire to see more actions against the culprits. Moving on. Renowned Baloch National Movement activist Hakeem Baloch has lamented Pakistan's ignorant attitude towards resolving the issues of Baloch people after the sit-in protesters in Islamabad were forced to call off their month-long movement. A report. Leading the Baloch National Movement, Hakeem Baloch asserted that Pakistan had never granted rights to the Baloch people and that it was high time for the international community to step in and stop the atrocities taking place in Balochistan. Lamenting the plight of the Baloch sit-in protesters in Islamabad were forced to end their month-long movement, Hakeem highlighted how Pakistani authorities mounted a campaign of disinformation against them and subjected them to repeated intimidation, arbitrary arrests and detentions.
The Pakistani state have been, since its inception, it has never provided justice to Balochistan and the people of Balochistan, the Baloch people. It has done exactly the same thing this time. So the families of the Baloch missing persons were in Islamabad protesting in cold weather, and Islamabad was, instead of providing them justice, instead of sympathizing with them, instead of listening to their painful stories, they start blaming the victims, they start blaming the protesters, they start blaming the leaders of Baloch Yakjati Committee, they start blaming the Dr. Maharang Baloch, Samidin Baloch and other leaders.
Hakeem further stated that this shows the real face of how ignorant, prudent and inhuman the Pakistani state is, and asserted that this is high time for the world to understand the situation in Balochistan.
They just show the world what their real face is, how ignorant the Pakistani state is, how brutal the Pakistani state is, how inhuman the Pakistani state is. And this is a high time that world must understand that what is happening in Balochistan and why these Baloch women and thousands of people in Balochistan are protesting.
Speaking on the recent protests, he said that it was the result of the staged murder of 4 Baloch youth by the Counter-Terrorism Department of the Balochistan Police.
One of the victims' family, Balaj Maulabak's family, decided to protest against his killing, and they brought his dead body on the street of Turbat, and that sit-in was joined by thousands of people across Balochistan, and then they marched from Turbat to Quetta, and in that journey thousands of people were welcoming them, listening to their stories and joining them.
Balochistan's history is marked by regular insurgencies, followed Pakistan's annexation of the autonomous Baloch state of Kalat in 1948. Baloch groups have consistently clashed with Pakistani security forces, demanding their rights and autonomy for ethnic Baloch regions or complete freedom from the clutches of Islamabad. They have been the targets of so-called military operations, ethnic stereotyping and abductions by the Pakistani state while it continues to exploit their natural resources. This situation is not highlighted by the local media, forcing them to seek intervention through global platforms. Now we take a look at some happenings in Asia in a segment called Asia Watch.
An undocumented migrant from Myanmar has died in a road accident while fleeing an immigration detention center with over 100 others in Malaysia, officials said last week. As many as 131 migrants escaped from the Bidor immigration detention depot in Malaysia's western Perak state. The incident was the second reported breakout from a Malaysian detention center in as many years. The migrants who escaped from the men's block of the depot included 115 ethnic Rohingya refugees, and 16 Myanmar nationals of other ethnicities. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi said a large part of India's capital expenditure in the next financial year will be spent on energy security. India's primary energy demand is estimated to double by 2045, Modi told an energy conference in the western tourist state of Goa. India plans to invest a significant portion of its $133.90 billion budget for infrastructure towards the energy sector. Modi also held a roundtable with global oil and gas CEOs and experts. Tokyo Metropolitan Government is spearheading decarbonization activity at Morigasaki Water Reclamation Center in Ota District, Tokyo, the latest solar power generation perovskite solar cell set up as a demonstration experiment. Perovskite solar cell is a Japanese original technology, and about 30% of the world's production of iodine, the main material, is produced in Japan.
ペロブスカイト太陽電池なんですけれども、こちらはこれまでの従来型のシリコン太陽電池と比較しまして、非常に薄くて軽いという特徴を持っています。さらに加えてですね、曲げることもできるような電池になっておりまして、様々な場所へ設置ができるといった、期待が持たれている次世代の太陽電池です。東京都は2030年までに再生可能エネルギーの利用割合を 50% 程度まで高めるということを目指しまして、様々な取り組みを行っております。多くの建物があるといった特色を生かして、この新しい技術、電池をですね、設置していくことができるだろうと。で、再生可能エネルギーのさらなる拡大につなげていけるといったところで非常に期待が大きいところでございます。
Morigasaki Water Reclamation Center is the facility to purify sewage water to release it into the river or the sea in Tokyo. It is the biggest one out of 13 facilities in Tokyo. Its operation needs a lot of electricity. To supply electricity and make progress in decarbonization, Morigasaki Center installed many solar panels. Assuming future possibilities, Tokyo Met accepts setting up a perovskite solar cell. Tokyo Metropolitan Government aims to create a clean, comfortable and sustainable city. It is walking forward at a steady pace.
India's diverse agricultural landscape is constantly evolving, embracing innovative techniques led by pioneering farmers. From experimenting with novel crops to harnessing modern technology, these individuals are pushing boundaries and reaping impressive rewards. Let's delve into the inspiring stories of several such progressive farmers who are earning lakhs through their unique agricultural venues. India is often regarded as an agro-based country, and agriculture holds a significant place in India's growing economy, sustaining over 70% of rural households. Today, the sector contributes to 15% of GDP, employing and nurturing approximately 58% of its population. With time, as the world evolved, India has evolved as well. To embrace innovation with its progressive farmers experimenting with modern technologies, reaping profitable rewards. Gurvinder Singh Sohi, a resident of Nanowal village in Fatehgarh Sahib district of Punjab, has established a big business by cultivating foreign variety of flowers. In 2008, he grew Holland gladiolus on nearly 2 canal of land, and he soon got better results. In no time, Sohi expanded and implemented the practice to many more acres. Later, along with flowers, he also started selling their seeds. Today, the flowers and seeds cultivated on his lands are in huge demand abroad as well, as he exports them to several countries. Cultivating such rare flowers came as a challenge to Gurvinder Singh Sohi, but with his perseverance and hard work, he did it anyway, inspiring many farmers like him.
2008 आ गया तो फिर हॉर्टिकल्चर डिपार्टमेंट से लेके ग्लैडुलस का बल्ब ये खेती स्टार्ट की। तो पहले साल मैंने जैसे बताया 1000 स्क्वायर मीटर ही लगाया था, फिर नेक्स्ट ईयर मैंने 1.5 एकड़ लगाया, तो उसके बाद फिर मैंने 3 एकड़ लगाए। तो पहले 2 साल तो काम सीखने को ही निकल गया। तीसरे साल जब थोड़ा पता चला मार्केटिंग का कैसे करनी है, कैसे कहाँ पर रेट अच्छा मिलता है, कब शादियाँ होती हैं, क्योंकि फूलों की जो खेती है वो सारी शादियों पर ही डिपेंड है। जितनी शादी ज़्यादा होंगी उतना इसका रेट ज़्यादा बढ़ेगा, क्योंकि सारे ये डेकोरेशन की काम आते थे।
Forget ordinary houseplants. In Haryana's Buhavi village, Salinder Kumar and his friend Rajesh Goswami grow something truly unique: pearls. Yes, you heard it right. Rajesh and Salinder grow pearls scientifically through innovative aquaculture methods in their home. Not only do they cultivate these pearls, but they also transform them into beautiful jewelry, adding value and boosting their income. This wasn't something they always wanted, but guess destiny had this planned for them. Both Rajesh and Salinder previously held other jobs, but their entrepreneurial spirit led them to take a leap and explore this unique opportunity. Now, they are not just successful themselves, but are also inspiring and training others to follow suit.
पहले साल में हमने यहाँ पर अपना 2 पार्टनर हैं, हम राजेश जी हैं मेरे साथ में। तो हमने क्या किया, अभी हमने 3.5 लाख रुपए दोनों ने लगा दिए। 3.5 लाख रुपए दोनों का खर्चा आ गया, और जब हमारा रिटर्न आया हम लोगों का पैसा भी पूरा हो गया और उल्टा हमको 3-3 लाख रुपया कमाई भी हो गई। फिर हमने देखा भी बिजनेस तो अच्छा है, तो फिर हमने इसको बड़े लेवल पे काम शुरू कर दिया।
In another instance, a couple living in Gujarat's Vadodara has achieved big by cultivating saffron in a 10 by 10 room of their house. Vaibhav Patel and Astha Maheshwari started the cultivation by purchasing saffron seeds from Kashmir and grew it well in their very first attempt with the help of aeroponics. Aeroponics is a method in which soil and water are not used, and an environment is created in which saffron can be cultivated. The couple wants to spread this technique of growing saffron across the country.
इस स्टार्टअप को बेसिकली सारे गुजरात में या सारे इंडिया में इनफैक्ट हम ये चाहते हैं कि जितने ज़्यादा लोग कर सके इस चीज़ को उतना बेहतर है, ताकि जो हमारे पास जो कहा जाता है कश्मीर को जिसको जीआई टैग मिला हुआ है वो पूरे इंडिया में मतलब इसका प्रोडक्शन इतना बढ़ जाए कि हम इतना एक्सपोर्ट कर पाए कि हमारा जीडीपी ज़्यादा ग्रो कर सके।
This innovative saffron cultivation method is blossoming into a golden opportunity for farmers and young entrepreneurs across India. Not only does it boost saffron production, but it also empowers individuals to launch their own businesses, unlocking exciting possibilities for the nation's future. Moreover, in a bid to encourage innovative farming practices, the government is actively promoting progressive farmers, paving the way for exciting new advancements in agricultural sector. Moving on. After a dry spell of over 2 months, one of the top tourist destinations in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, Gulmarg has turned to a winter wonderland for tourists. With a fresh snowfall draping the cup-shaped valley, tourists from all across the country and the globe are reaching Gulmarg to experience the winter beauty. The fresh snowfall has ensued a fresh enthusiasm among the locals also, who are now witnessing a surge in their income from tourism businesses. Take a look.
Gulmarg, renowned for its breathtaking landscapes and mesmerizing snowfall, has transformed into a winter wonderland these days. Tourists from all across the globe and the country are coming to Gulmarg to experience the fresh snowfall in the valley. After a dry spell of around 2 months, Gulmarg is again seen draped in white snow, bringing cheers to thousands of visitors coming from different parts of the country.
बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है, भगवान का लाख लाख शुक्रिया अदा कर रहे हैं। और जब हम लोग लैंड हुए थे तो बिल्कुल स्नो नहीं था, तो हम लोग प्रे करते हुए सो कि सुबह उठे और हमको स्नोफॉल मिले, और वाकई में ऐसे हुआ। हम लोग सो करके उठे हैं और स्नोफॉल मिला। इतनी खुशी हुई है, बता नहीं सकते हैं। और जिन लोगों ने हमारे लिए प्रे की है उन सब के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
तो कितना ब्यूटीफुल गुलमर्ग दे रहा है,
बहुत ब्यूटीफुल लग रहा है। यहाँ से जाने का हमारा मन नहीं कर रहा है। हम लोग 3 फ्रेंड्स आए हैं गुलमर्ग घूमने के लिए, बिल्कुल यहाँ से जाने का मन नहीं कर रहा है। जन्नत है, जन्नत।
Many visitors were enjoying rides on sledges, trying their hands on skiing and making the most out of their first visit to Gulmarg. The snow-laden trees and landscapes added to the charm of Gulmarg and created a picturesque scene to behold for a lifetime.
I'm very excited. Gulmarg Kashmir is my first time, my first day. So inshallah, I will bring my family maybe next year. Yeah, everybody please come to Kashmir. It's a nice place, like Switzerland. I already went to Switzerland one time. Feel like Switzerland.
The fresh snowfall in Gulmarg has brought joy to local businesses also, who are now making a good seasonal income with the rising tourist footfall. Every year, a large influx of tourists come to the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir to experience the beauty of Gulmarg during winter season. For the locals, it is a great opportunity to promote their businesses and add to the tourism revenue for the Union Territory.
देखिए पिछले कुछ महीने से यहाँ पे बर्फ़ नहीं हो रही थी, जो कि हमारे लिए मायूसी का कारण था। लेकिन अगर आप देखें पिछले कल से यहाँ पे फिर से वो मुस्कान वापस आई है, जिसके लिए हम बहुत देर से वेट कर रहे हैं। चाहे स्लेज वाला हो, चाहे स्कीइंग वाला हो, बहुत ज़्यादा खुश दिख रहे हैं, जो कि अच्छी बात है। डेफिनेटली देखिए, अगर आपने देखा होगा ये जो बर्फ़ है यहाँ पे बिल्कुल सफ़ेद चादर जैसी नज़र आ रही है, जो कि एक अच्छी बात है हर एक के लिए। यहाँ जो अगर आप लोकल टंगमर की बात करें, इनका जो भी इनकम है वो इसी से बेस्ड है, तो हमारे लिए खुशी की बात है, लोकल के लिए भी, टूरिस्ट के लिए भी।
The fresh snowfall has not only provided a visual spectacle for the visitors, but also ensued a new vigor and enthusiasm among the locals. The local economy too has received a boost, and businesses catering to the tourism industry are hopeful of increased tourist footfall in the coming days.
It's time for me to wrap up today's episode. We'll be back next week at the same time. This is Shivangi Mishra signing off on behalf of the entire production team of South Asia Today. Goodbye and take care.